What's going on, Chazz? What's the deal?
What's happening?
Look, man, we just trying to get this information together here about healthy stress and healthy confrontation. We want to give a shout out to Brother Raymond because Brother Raymond was the one who told us about that we
Okay.
should do a broadcast about it. So we're doing this based upon a person's wanting us to
Request.
do it. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
this broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. It says this is part six. So how you feeling at the part six? How you feeling?
I feel pretty good. Like I said, it seems like we can keep going on and on about this. And shout out to Brother Raymond for giving us this request to do. But yeah, I feel very enthusiastic about it, bro. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well myself. I like it. But you see on this screen, it's talking about how we basically, man, when we talk about stress, we're really saying that we need to boost our mental health because our mental health is what's really at stake when we don't handle stress properly. So
Right.
I know my mental health needs boosting, and this brain is really working out. And
Yeah.
because a lot of our brains are not working the way they should work because we don't know what to do with stress. And I think that's an indictment on us because for so many years we've just been going through so much, taking everything on the chin, and we really don't have to, but because we don't understand stress, our brain is not really being worked out the way it should. It's being bombarded.
Yeah. And when you're not combating that, and like you said, throughout the days, the months, the years, the weeks, it the brain takes a toll. It takes so much. And when you're not exercising it, when you're not reading, when you're not studying, when you're not doing research, all that stuff tears the brain down. And I mentioned this last week with all the radiation and stuff that's coming from these phone towers. I mean, bro, it is vital. It is important that you work the mind out.
Now, I want to shift gears though, because for the longest we've been talking about stress, the biological aspect of it, which we'll get into tonight. But this whole ideal of healthy stress. Now that sounds like an enigma. It's something new because normally we don't think of stress as being healthy because we're so used to it being negative. But there's actually what is called healthy stress, and we're going to talk about healthy stress and what that does for us. But unfortunately, a lot of us have been uninformed. We've been very clueless or ignorant to the fact that some stress is good for you. And I think that's what Brother Raymond was trying to say when we first started. Not
Mhm.
all stress does us in. And so tonight we want to talk a little bit about healthy stress. And if we get an opportunity, we'll talk about how healthy confrontation is going to help us because a lot of us don't know that confrontation is a good thing, Chazz. But a
Yeah.
lot of us, we don't think confrontation is good.
It's how you do it, bruh. I would say confrontation is a wonderful thing, but we as blacks, especially blacks, we don't know how to talk to people level headed. When we confront people, want to cuss them out, make them look embarrassed, make them look stupid in front of others, instead of just saying, you know what, I can confront you talking like this in a mild manner, not hollering, not shouting, things like that. So I agree, confrontation is good when it's done in its correct form.
Okay, you ready to start the show?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, here we go. We're talking about healthy stress and what it does for us.
Healthy stress feels energizing rather than overwhelming. Exactly. When you have healthy things that you're looking forward to, you're constantly thinking of new ideas. You're constantly thinking of ways to improve. You're constantly thinking of ways to make yourself better. And it's not overwhelming because you're looking at it from a positive perspective. You're not looking at it as a Debbie Downer or a dweller or just somebody that's just depressed. So, once again, healthy stress is something that has you always trying to become better instead of looking at it from a negative perspective.
Yeah, and again, like I said earlier, I don't think we're educated enough. And I'm not trying to play on anybody's intelligence. It's just, I know growing up, no one taught me about stress other than it was bad for me. No
Yeah.
one taught me the importance of how some of the stress that we experience is healthy, you
Yeah.
see. But because we don't look at stress as healthy, every time we do something, we think, oh man, I'm stressful. For example, if we're doing something like this, getting ready for a special, exciting event or occasion, that's a good thing. And it does come with stress. You know how excited we get when we're doing something, if we're going to be playing a game or we're going to see somebody we haven't seen in a long time and we're nervous, but that's healthy. But a lot of
Yeah.
times we lump everything together and say, oh man, that's so stressful when it's really not. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, but because we don't understand it.
Yeah, and not to pat myself on the back, but last Saturday was a wonderful event I went to. It was a special occasion. It's called Walk for Alzheimer's, where people who have dementia, Alzheimer's, or people who have struggled with this, they walk this mile. I think it's like a
Mhm.
mile and a half out here by the Six Flags. And all day, I was just so hyped and enthusiastic. And when I got there, I saw so many people, elders, young folks, and a lot of elders who had lost people to Alzheimer's and dementia, all sitting around telling their stories. They had a wonderful thing. Let me ask you this real quick. Have you heard of that or no?
Yeah, I did. I think, don't they do this every year?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing. It really is, and it's something that's really it's helpful. It's a good thing. It's something that stress brings, but it's one of those beautiful stress related situations as opposed to something bad, like when
Yeah.
you're starting a new project, like you just mentioned, and when you get excited about things. We've gotten to the point now where a lot of us aren't even excited because we think that if we get excited, we're stressed out because we don't know. We say we're stressed out. And again, I don't think that we as a people really understand the benefits of healthy stress. As Brother Ray was saying, a few weeks ago, we have to talk about stress is not always that which brings you down and takes you under. There's something exciting and exhilarating about stress if we would just open up to the ideal of how it should work for us.
Yeah, and how it works for us in a healthy manner, like I said, because I researched this before we got on. A lot of the healthy stress, it sharpens your memory, it sharpens your focus, and it has your cognitive dissonance at an all-time high. So it's like you're constantly going. But like you said, we get caught up on the stress, on the side effects, upset, things like that. But there is some positive effects of stress as well. Letter A, healthy stress boost motivation and focus. I literally just said that when you have something that you're looking forward to, you're researching, you're on Google, you're looking at books, you're asking people in your neighborhood or people who you live with on ways on how to accomplish or tackle certain things. So I do think that it boosts your motivation and also boosts your focus because like you're looking up and down everywhere to try to succeed in a certain area for that topic.
Exactly. If you look at what the screen says, it says how to boost your motivation. And this has to do with stress, how we can be positive even when we're having stress. We have to be selective with the people around us. In other words, we have to choose our friends wisely. We have to be around people that are positive and upbeat. We also have to have an organized workspace. Don't have everything so cluttered and confusing and anarchy. Recognize your efforts and cherish your success. Cherish the successes that you have. Stay positive. Stretch a bit beyond your comfort zone, and then set some clear and achievable goals. These are ways that we can boost our motivation, and this is what healthy stress does for us.
I agree 1,000%. Like you said, all these things on the chart, on the screen, is good. It's just a matter of us putting it in practice and actually remembering these things. It's good for us to talk about this now, but in the heat of the moment when we're actually going through it, sometimes we forget. So I think it's just a matter of us putting these things in practice and putting it in perspective.
And look what else healthy stress does for us.
Healthy stress helps you stay energized and alert. It pushes you to prepare, practice, or study, making you more likely to succeed. Exactly. There's all kind of avenues that you can go to. Like I said earlier, YouTube. You got the library. You got books. You got all kind of things that you can look forward to help you get through a certain area. For example, if you're a beginner at working out, or if you're a beginner at bodybuilding, you may not know much, but you have so many things at your fingertips that it's no way for you to fail. You may not be good at it the first time, but if you're constantly focusing, constantly preparing, asking questions, eventually you're going to get better at it. So this is why I agree with the topic on the screen as well. Sister Mashana Fires in here. She says, hello. We appreciate her.
Yeah, and it's always wonderful to just stop and sit back, and that's what we're doing now. We're taking it a point at a time, and we're analyzing stress. We're saying that stress is good for you. We're saying that it helps us to do things. It pushes us to prepare, like when you're taking a test or something. And it's not always that you're stressful in a negative way. It's like you're energized, you're ready to do it, you want to practice, you want to study, you want to be more likely to succeed. And that's what I try to teach my students sometimes, because as children, they don't really understand that everything that they go through is not stress related. But because
Right.
we've been hearing that all of our lives, we don't know how to separate it and let them know that that's a good thing when you're ready to take a test and you get butterflies and all that, especially when you studied.
Exactly. Well said. Letter B, healthy stress encourages personal growth. Exactly. It's like you're constantly thinking of ways to get better. You're constantly pressuring yourself in a healthy way, in a positive way. So, you know what? I am a little bit stagnant in this area, but I know if I keep doing X, Y, and Z, it'll push me to the next level. But I have to keep going. I have to keep fighting. I have to keep pushing, because staying stagnant is really not a good spot to be in. But healthy stress will help you succeed to that next level.
Check this out then, Chaz, if you think that was something.
It says it's not stress that kills us, it's our reaction to it.
Yeah, it's not the stress itself. It's when we go through whatever we go through, some of us, we crack up, we
Yeah.
explode, we go berserk, and that's not good for us. And over the years, that takes its toll on us. And that's why a lot of us do have the strokes and the heart attacks and all of that, because
Mm.
we don't know how to handle stress. We don't know how to react to it. But yet, this different this little information that's on the screen, it is vital, because it tells us it's really not the stress that kills us, it's how we react to it. Some of us drink, some of us
Right.
smoke, some of us don't get sleep, some of us eat. Well, we do all kinds of things. So I think this is a very vital point.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further. As Sister Mashana fires here, she says, "Wow." She's reacting, saying, "I guess this is some really good information." But some of us, like we have react, there's certain things that we have to react, in a quick manner. But some of our reactions to certain things, it's just over the top. When somebody tells us something, we're just hollering, we're shouting, and if you look at it and you say, "You know what? Did that response really deserve that?" 9 times out of 10, it's not. So once again, like on the screen says that our reaction is what messes us up when sometimes stress hits us, when 9 times out of 10, it's really, really not worth it for us to be acting and carrying on like that as adults.
And I know this tells us that healthy stress encourages personal growth. And this is why a lot of us are not growing up, because the healthy stress that we have, we're not doing what we're supposed to do, because that should make us all want to be better people instead of always wanting to be negative. And that's a problem that most of us have. Here's another thing that healthy stress does for us.
Healthy stress helps us face challenges with just the right amount of stress. I'll let you
Yeah,
take
it
that
does.
step real
Yeah,
quick.
because what it does is, and I'm going to tell you what happens biologically when we face challenges and we have healthy stress, like studying for an exam, meeting someone you haven't seen for a long time, or just excited. Instead of saying that we're stressed out, what happens biologically, Chaz, is the brain gets alert, and then the brain releases chemicals that's called neurotransmitters, like the dopamine that we talked about, and it basically it wakes your brain up, and it helps you to pay attention. It helps you to think clearly. It helps you to stay focused, as we're saying. Then it helps your heart out. The brain tells your heart to beat a little faster, so your heart starts beating faster, and this sends more oxygen and blood to your muscles and your brain, and then you feel energized and ready to go. And then stress hormones kick in just a little. Your body releases those tiny amounts of cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and in healthy amounts, though. Cortisol, it helps you stay sharp and deal with the situation. And last but not least, after that, your body returns to normal. Once the stress passes your brain, it tells your body to calm down. It tells your heart rate to go back to normal. And then you begin to be yourself again. But again, most of us don't look at this that way, because we think that every time that we stress, we think that it's bad. And it's not bad. It really isn't. It's just the right amount of stress. That's what healthy stress does for us.
Well said. It also says on the screen, healthy stress helps sharpen and thinking. I'm sorry, helps healthy stress sharpens your thinking and helps you perform at your best. Exactly. Once again, when you're constantly, or like say for example, like you said earlier, when you're studying for a test or you're reading and you're trying to figure out how can I ace this test, and you're constantly going over every avenue. You're reading all these books. You're researching all these videos on YouTube or Rumble or BitChute.com. All these things are going to help your mind exceed to the next level instead of always, stressed out, being depressed. It's a stressful, positive way where it's like you're not angry, but you're just trying to figure out ways on how to be the best you can be and giving it your all that you can.
Okay, well, let's watch a video that talks about good stress and also talks about stress in general. But let's share a video with our audience so we can really look at what stress does and how we should react to stress.
Let's talk about. In today's episode, we're talking about stress. Stress can pop up from all over the place throughout your everyday life, but stress by itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. I know. In the right amount, stress can actually focus and motivate you. For example, the stress of a big exam coming up at school can drive you to study harder. However, too much stress or stressors that are too big for you to handle can overwhelm you. Now, keep in mind, our reactions to stress are shaped by a number of factors, including past experiences. So if you've been through trauma, it may make it more difficult to deal with the everyday stress in your life. Small stressors may feel overly big to you because they're actually triggering painful memories from your past. If you think this might be the case, a therapist can help you work through those feelings and develop strategies for handling them. Now, understand that stress is unavoidable. It's just a part of being human. But as humans, we also have the ability to manage our stress, allowing good stress to motivate us while developing strategies to deal with the more toxic stress. Some of those strategies include things like planning your day, eating healthy foods, and exercising regularly, practicing deep breathing, getting a good night's sleep, asking for help from friends, family, and teachers when needed, as well as speaking with a therapist or mental health professional. Remember, everyone reacts to stress differently, so it's important to find the coping strategies that work best for you. There will always be some amount of stress in your life, but the key is how you react to it. Managing stress is a skill, just like any other. The more you work at it, the better you'll get. And in time, you'll find yourself so much better equipped to handle the events that life throws at you.
Well said. She pretty much hit on some of the things like she showed when the student was studying for that test. He seemed like he was, frustrated for a little bit. And then as he kept going and going and going, it seems like he was getting ready to ace that test. So once again, it's always about putting it in its correct perspective.
Yeah, that's true, Chazz. I think we want to look at another slide that talks about stress because it's important that we look at what we can do when we're having issues. We can slow down. We can keep calm. We did a broadcast about how we should remain calm under stress. Be positive. The world is not, going to hell in a handbasket. Be positive. The sky is not falling. Take it easy. Unplug. Enjoy life. Relax. Have fun. Breathe. Meditate. These are different things that we should do. Go ahead, Chazz, and say what you're going to say.
Let me ask you this real quick. In the Black community, because I know there's some Hispanics and whites that do it, but especially in the Black, because it seems like we pride in this. Why do you feel like 9 times out of 10, like all these things on the screen, it says for us to breathe, slow down, be positive, be calm? Why does it seem like we do the opposite where we're just exploding every time you look around? Why do you think we always have that in us instead of being calm?
I think the video gave us a perfect insight on it, and that is this. Our past experiences, in the past, we've been through so much and we've never been able to unplug and really look at our situation. We just explode and go crazy or always think like the sky is falling. So based upon what we've done in the past, we've never sat back like you and I and other people are doing, where we're sitting back and saying, hey, let me stop and look at stress. Let me make sure that I understand what I'm going through. And if this is something that's a positive thing, the stress is good for me. But again, unfortunately, many of us go back on our past experience because we've never been taught about stress. We don't know what to do when we're stressed out other than trying to go get a fix or go get something to make us feel good. And that's why I think that a lot of us are not really doing the best that we can when it comes to stress. As you see, these simple insights they're basic though, Chazz. They really are. And we should know these things. But unfortunately, a lot of us, we don't, because we don't know what to do with stress. Now, Brother Raymond, again, I keep saying his name, but He had told us that he wanted to do us to do a broadcast about healthy stress and then healthy confrontation. So let you define what healthy confrontation is as it relates to stress, because when we're stressed out, we have to confront whatever we're going through. And then we're going to look at reasons that we don't practice healthy confrontation. But let's define what healthy confrontation is first.
Healthy confrontation is basically when people address a problem or disagreement in a respectful, honest, and calm way to find a solution or understanding. Now, I want to highlight or get a highlighter in that word right here where it says disagreement in a respectful way. Because, brother, as adults, we're too old to not. Me and you should be able to say, you know what? I don't disagree. I disagree with your take, or you disagree with my take, and leave it at that. But, brother, the disrespect, the belittling, the shouting, the trying to embarrass people in front of others, that's something that we have to work on as a society. And this isn't just the black thing now. I'm just going to expand this to all races, because it seems like we have an issue with respecting people when we don't have the same thought process or philosophy about something.
I definitely agree with you, but I want to add too, because the reason that a lot of us are stressed out because we don't know how to confront people. And see, when you look at the word confrontation, a lot of us are afraid of that word because they say, I'm going to confront so-and-so. And usually when we say we're going to confront someone, it comes with loud shouting. It comes with fat mouthing. It comes with, irateness. It comes with just egregious acts. So we don't realize we can confront people in a healthy way. And that helps us, like you said, when people address a problem or a disagreement in a respectful and honest, and then notice it says in a calm way. And then we're also trying to find a solution or understanding. But when we go off on each other, we're not trying to find a solution. We're trying to outdo the next person. We're trying to big up one on the next person. We want everybody to know that we're the smartest one in the room and we have all the knowledge and all the insight. And this is why a lot of us are stressed out, because we don't know how to confront. And I think that's something that we definitely need to continue to talk about, because this healthy confrontation, it actually helps us, Chazz. It really does.
Yeah, and like I said, even if the confrontation, you can call me or I'll call you and say, you know what, brother, let's meet up at the library. Not to fight, not to do anything in the parking lot, but sit down at a table across from each other and hash it out. But like I said, normally when you call me or I call you, we getting ready to use vulgarity and obscenities and all of that. And it's not about that. There's always should be a healthy confrontation. That's something we all need to work on as a society. It says here on the screen, it's not the load that breaks you down. It's the way you carry it. Absolutely.
It is, Chazz, because a lot of us don't know how to carry the load. Here's what I'm sick of, and this even in my own life. I'm sick of not realizing that everything that happens to me is not stressful, but I make it stressful because I don't know how to carry the load. Some things happen to us on a daily basis because that's what life brings. Everything that happens to us is not stress and not stressful. But again, when you don't talk about it intelligently, when you're not taught about it, when you don't know what to do with it, then everything that happens to you and I, we think, oh, wow, that's stress. Like if I'm studying for a test, which it just says, that's a healthy thing. But instead of me saying, I'm excited about this test, Chazz, this is a healthy situation, I'm going to call you and say, man, I'm so stressed out because of this test. So you see, it's my mindset. It's the load that breaks us down. It's the way you carry the load. Everything ain't always fisticuffs. Everything ain't always, as you mentioned, vulgarity. Everything ain't always shouting to the top of our lungs. And that's what's really done a lot of us in, because a lot of us, we don't know how to carry it, Chazz, but we say we do, but we really don't.
Yeah, we should be carrying it politely and calmly. And before I expand, Sister Barbara Fires in here. She said, so Tep Kings, we appreciate that. But absolutely, we should be carrying these things lightly instead of, like I said, we're too old and our blood pressure and stuff is going to continue to skyrocket. And we're going to get ourselves sick over something frivolous. And then when our families or friends or coworkers visit us in the hospital and they say, well, what happened? And you tell them why you are in the hospital, and their minds are going to say, well, that could have been avoided, or that was silly because it's not as deep as you made it out to be. Now it says here on the screen, it says this healthy type of confrontation should be practiced by all of us.
It should. It should be practiced more by all of us, because if we're honest with ourselves, we don't practice healthy type of confrontation as it relates to stress. We just want to confront somebody so everybody knows that we were right. You know, we don't want to confront people to learn, or confront people so that we can learn, or confront people in love, or confront people so that our stress levels can go back down, as I just told you how it happens. But we want to confront people so everybody can say, look at that man go. Boy, he sure throwing them words. He is beautiful, man. He is really going off. I got him by the throat now. I got him on the ropes. It's not about that. But I want to ask you a question in terms of why we have reasons that we don't practice the healthy confrontation to reduce stress. And we're going to talk about the reasons, but we don't practice healthy confrontation. There are reasons for that, Chazz. There are many reasons. And here's one I want you to take and then run with it.
Number one, fear of conflict. Many of us don't want any type of conflict that helps relieve stress. We're all addicted to mess. I agree with that 1,000%, because it helps us to stay victim. You know, we always can cry and say, woe is me. The world is out to get me. I feel like, the world's out to get me. Instead of, confronting it, we have sympathy. We have people that, call us, says, oh, it's going to be okay. And just keep pushing through it. And you're going to be all right. So that's why I think a lot of us are afraid of the conflict, because 90% of the time, we just want those people to pat us on the back and tell us things that we want to hear.
And sometimes when you confront someone, you have to do what this sister's doing. She's just breathing right before the event, getting her mind together, getting her thoughts together, and then she starts to process. A lot of us are afraid, man. We don't want any type of conflict because we have been taught. Now, when we get older, we want to be left alone. But see, that's not the answer, Chazz. And I don't know where that comes from. But when we get older, we don't want to be bothered. We want to go into a cave. We want to barricade ourselves. We don't want anybody to upset the apple cart. We want people to leave us alone until we want to be confronted. But and this is not what we should be doing. And I think it's sad that we've stooped to such a low level now where we don't want any kind of conflict. If somebody owes you something, and instead of you going to them and saying, you owe me, it's time that you take care of what you owe me. You've been saying you were going to pay me, or whatever the case is. We'll say, no, I ain't going to do it. They know they owe me. But all along, that's bringing stress, you see. So instead of just confronting the person in love, we just don't want, we call it conflict. Conflict is necessary, Chazz. Conflict is really necessary.
And I'll take it a step further. A lot of us, and see, what I'm about to say is crazy, but it is what it is. A lot of us don't want conflict because we know the people that we're going to confront has a hot head, they're a loose cannon, and we know if we confront them, a fight is liable to break out. Here we are, 40, 50, 60 years old, and you mean to tell me I know if I confront you that you're going to want to fight me? This is just terrible. Shout out to brother Daryl Stalling. He fires in here. He says, I'm at Planet Fitness now, working out on my stress. Well, that's good, brother Daryl. That is good. You getting that exercise in, getting those endorphins going, and that's a wonderful thing that you're still healthy and you're able to work out. So he's listening to this as he works out, and we appreciate that.
And that's one of the most beautiful comments that the brother has made, because he joins us from time to time. And that's the secret right there. We've talked about how when we work out, it helps our amygdala. It helps our hippocampus. It helps our hypothalamus. So this is the right attitude, is to work out and take care of the stress, because a lot of us don't do anything, and that stress builds up over the years. And that's when you talk about strokes and heart attacks and all of that.
Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, I'm a loud person, and my tonation sounds like hostility. I'm doing my best to practice healthy confrontation, though sometimes I am angry and aware of my actions. I still need to speak pleasantly, because the older I get, the less stress, the healthier me. Good topic. We appreciate that comment. And she's saying she knows that sometimes she can get loud. She doesn't mean to. It's something that she's working on, and she's trying to do the best that she can. And she's recognizing that she has an issue and she's working on it. So appreciate her for being honest. And then she also fires back in here, and she also says, I'm at Planet Fitness right now as well. Brother, it says need to get that cardio in. Brother, as soon as this broadcast is over, you better get your butt up and go do it. All these dudes fired in here tonight. They all working out. You better get your butt up.
Yeah, they making me look real bad, but old Lombardi and Chet Walker, I got to get back in there and work out. But I work out 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But that's a beautiful thing to do. But Chazz, here are some other reasons why we don't practice healthy confrontation.
Lack of communication skills. Too many of us don't know how to talk to people when we confront them. And I'm going to take it a step further, brother. A lot of us don't know. We expect people to read our minds. Say, for example, if you did something to me yesterday, I have a look on my face and you say, well, what's wrong with you? Instead of me saying what's wrong, you know what you did to me yesterday. They expect us to read people's minds. And here we are, adults, still carrying on like this. I think it's childish. I think it's petty. I think it's very immature for us adults to sit here and to be carrying on like that.
Yeah, I concur with you, Chazz, on that. Sometimes we just don't know what to do. We really don't. We don't have communication skills. And I want to say that, then we'll get into the healthy habits to support stress relief. But a lot of us, we don't know how to talk to people. And I don't know how much more we can say about that. Every time we have a problem, instead of just talking like I'm talking to you, because we can be upset and we can talk like I'm talking to you now. I can say, I'm very upset right now with you, and I can tell you what's going on. But no, I want to smack something on the table. I want to throw a glass. I want to bust something. I want everybody in the neighborhood to know that, John, throw it down over there. Listen to him, boy. He going off, I want to rattle the cage. I want everybody to know that I still got it. See, but that's killing me. And so we don't know how to talk to people, and we'll say this every year. And I always go back to this, and this is what's the sad part about it. Every year around this time, maybe a week after this week, most people say this, I'm going to watch how I talk because the new year's coming up. And they do it for a day or two or a week or a month. But as soon as they get out of that month's time frame, they go back in the saddle again because it's going to come from your heart. And we are a people that don't know how to relieve stress. But as you can see on here, these are ways, and you can talk to us about these ways to support stress relief.
Hold on real quick. Let me see if I can zoom in. On the right-hand side, it's just make time for projects, self-care, tasks you have been putting off. Exactly. Some tasks you've been putting off that you've been procrastinating. You don't have to tackle all at once. Take it a step at a time. Do a little bit today, do a little bit tomorrow, or do 40 minutes here. Take a break, go back at it an hour later. When we do these tasks, I think a lot of us get stressed out because we're trying to tackle it all right then and there. Take a break, go back at it, and it's like a give or take. And then on the left-hand side, it says get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Adequate sleep supports mindfulness and activity. Exactly. And I believe Brother Ray was saying that he has an issue with this too. A lot of us are having trouble going to sleep, and that's why we're sometimes cranky and grouchy. We're not functioning the way we should. But as an adult, you should be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep on a consistent basis. That way you're not stressed out. Your cortisol levels aren't up. You're not always ready to bite somebody's head off. But yeah, I do agree with that we do need at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If you get 9, that's a bonus. But most people I know are saying it's like at least 7 or 8.
Well, Chazz, you left out something that I want to say that's on this screen. As we're talking about healthy stress and healthy confrontation, most of us are dying at a young age because we don't know how to handle stress. Our children don't know how to handle stress. Our grandchildren don't know how to handle stress. We don't know how to handle stress. Our parents don't know how to handle stress. Our relatives don't know how to handle stress. And so these broadcasts are to help us because a lot of us are looking older than we are because stress is all in our face. Stress is everywhere. But the thing you left out, Chazz, if you look in the middle here, it says spark movement. Be active every day. So I want to say this to people that I love, and I don't mean it because I'm talking to myself. Get your lazy butt off that couch, those who can, and go outside and do something. Now, this young lady, this sister, she's riding a bike. Now, I'm not trying to tell everybody to go get a bike, but what I am saying is Many of us are stressed out and we do nothing but sit around, eat potato chips, sit on the couch, watch sports, drink beer, smoke blunts, smoke dope. You know, this is not good for us. And I'm saying, brothers and sisters, if we do that, then we have to have some kind of movement, Chad. We can't sit around all of our lives and not think that stress is not going to get the better of us. Wouldn't you agree to that?
I agree with you 1,000%. We've been preaching this for decades. It seems like that you have to be active. No, you don't have to run marathons every day. No, you don't have to get a bike, but running or jogging in the park or walking in the park, swimming. Some people who have bad knees or who have surgery, swimming is a good thing. Get that blood pumping, get your sweat on, get yourself active some kind of way, because the older we get, we're letting the stress stack up. And before you know it, like you said, we're sick. And when the EMS or at the hospital. Sister Mashana fires in here. She says, I should be working out too, but I have a sprained ankle. Get that workout on, y'all. Okay, she's being honest. She's saying that she has a sprained ankle. We hope that you heal quickly, and thank goodness that you didn't have to have surgery. But she's saying that she needs to, and she's going to work on it. But she's encouraging people to get the workout in.
I'm going to get her. I'm going to get on her case. Because, and I know that a sprained ankle means that you can't really move too much, but you can sit down and you can lift some cans, like some can of peas or something. You know, you can lift some can of peas. Oh, this is working out. You can think of different things. You could take your arms and do like this, or you can do like this. You can. There's so many things that you can do. So don't come here with that. Now she's encouraging them, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But you know, there are things you can do with a sprained ankle now. We're not letting anybody off the hook now. So go get you a couple of cans of beans or green beans or some, you know, something, peas or something in a can, and just lift those cans up. If you can't get those, just do your arms like that. Do something.
Yeah. It sounds like, and maybe we have to do this in the future because we've done a lot of broadcasts. It sounds like we may have to come back around to the exercise again. I mean, that's what everybody's been pushing for tonight. I'm talking a broadcast on it. And she sounds like she may be a cardio person, but still, hopefully she gets healthy quickly. And hopefully she can find some other exercise to keep her going as she recovers from her sprained ankle. And she also fires her here again. She says, they know that's some bull, you know what. And brother Ray fires in here. What's up, Ray? He says, almost up away the show. It's all good. You can catch us on the playback for the parts you missed. We appreciate you for coming in. He also fires in here again and says, learn to let stressful moments end at the end of the moment. Yeah, he's basically saying, you know what? After that stressful moment is over with, let it go. Don't dwell on it. Don't keep thinking about it. Don't keep playing it over in your mind. Once that moment is over with, let it go is basically what he's saying. Brother Daryl fires in here. He says, run in place. Okay, he's giving her Mashonda some suggestions. Okay. Yeah, that's what it's all about, though. Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, real talk, Ray. Okay, she's agreeing with him. And then Brother Ray has something for Sister Mashonda, too. He fires in here and says, chair exercise if you're suffering from a leg injury. Okay, well, see, that's good. Everybody's in the comment section encouraging others, giving people tips, encouraging people. And that's what this is all about, motivation, because we have enough of people in society that's putting us down. So all these brothers and sisters that's in the comment, keep it going and keep it on topic, but good words of encouragement. Number 3, some of us would rather avoid our problems instead of dealing with them head on, but this causes stress. And I think I did say this earlier. We like to avoid it because, like I said, number 1, we don't like confrontation. And number 2, we want that pity party. We want people to, pat us on the back, tell us it's going to be okay, and just want people to feel sorry for us instead of dealing with it head on.
Yeah, some of us would rather avoid our problems instead of dealing with them because we don't like confrontation. And one of these points, I think we talk about that a lot of us are just cowards. We don't want to do what we have to do. We're afraid, man. We don't want to do the right thing instead of dealing with our problems head on. But what we don't realize is that when we hold all these things in, what it does to us is it stresses us out internally. That's that silent killer. And so all these years we hold on to all that stuff that we should have been getting out, and then it does a number on us. And that's one of the things that I think is really killing the African-American community, because we are saying, well, I'm not going to say anything about it. They know what they're doing. Yeah, but they're killing you. And you're not getting that out because it's causing stress by you holding it in. And here's
Yeah.
one that I think we need to talk about, and we'll see what this one says.
Number 4, many of us have been tricked into thinking that saying nothing about our issues is keeping the peace, but it's not. It's holding the stress inside. Exactly. We're holding that stress on the inside, holding it in, and then we lash out on somebody or someone who had nothing to do with it, or we lash out on the person decades or 5 years later instead of holding in. And it is, instead of letting it go. And that is a trick, brother. Holding all that stuff in like that is, number 1, is raising that blood pressure. Number 2, spiking that cortisol level. Number 3, it's just not good for your overall health to keep letting that stuff fester on the inside. You got to let it out in a polite, in a respectful manner.
Yeah, and some people always say, well, I'm just going to keep the peace. You're really not keeping the peace. You're saying you're keeping the peace, but you're not keeping the peace because in your heart, you're holding that in. So you're not keeping the peace. You're keeping the stress. But because we're so backwards, we think that we're doing something, but we're hurting ourselves. And so we listen to all these little adages or these sayings that people say, well, it's better to just hold my tongue. No, it's not better to hold your tongue, because when you hold your tongue, the thing that you're holding inside of you is killing you. It's killing me. And so that's why we have to be careful with all these different adages and sayings that people tell us that's not true, because that's definitely not true. Ain't no such thing as keeping the peace when you can tell somebody in love what you're feeling and what you're going through.
Well said. Sister Mashana fires back in here. She says, thanks for the advice, y'all. No problem. She's commenting. Brother Ray fires in here. He says, I actually enjoy fighting back. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah, Chazz, I think we need to continue to talk about this because we have so many more notes. So we'll pick up next week. We're not going anywhere soon. It's just that people have to understand that stress has done us all a number. It really has. And we have to look at stress for what it's worth and then deal with it. Because if we don't confront people in a healthy way, what we're holding in is going to take advantage of us.
Many of us are afraid of hurting someone's feelings. And see, here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, when we hurt someone's feelings, we're doing it in a nasty way. We're hollering and shouting. But if we hurt someone's feelings and we didn't mean any harm and we're saying it in a polite way, like, you know what? This is on my mind. You did this to me. I don't appreciate that, in a mild way. And you're not shouting and you're not hollering. If that person's feelings get hurt, or you could tell them, you know what, brother, sister, what I'm about to say, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. And then you say it in a polite way. And if it does hurt their feelings, you didn't intend to. But the thing is, we go into the situation looking to tear that person down.
Yeah. Many of us are afraid of hurting someone's feelings. Well, you're already hurt. Your internal organs, everything, your heart is hurt. Everything inside of you, your nerves are hurt. Everything is hurting, but you're saying you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. If you come to a person in love, and if you come to that person with healthy confrontation, if their feelings get hurt, you can't help that, especially when you say it in such a way that they understand that you're not being arrogant and you're not being boisterous. You're just explaining to them what you're dealing with or what they've done to you. So we got to grow up, Chazz. We got to stop being little babies. We've got to be able to realize that if you have a problem and you don't address that problem, it brings stress. Yeah. And sometimes what you have to do is we have to make sure that what we're dealing with, we have to tell people in love. And if it hurts their feelings, we shouldn't be able to take that as if, well, I'm not going to say anything. Well, you shouldn't have to. You just have to deal with the reality. And that's what's wrong with us. Because if you look at what's going on this screen now, it says the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. In other words, I'm going to choose to confront you healthy wise than to let the thought of me keeping that inside of me to hurt me. See, you're going to have to think through this. And I think at this time, I really need to put this up what Raymond says, because this is really powerful what Brother Raymond is saying about this whole hurting someone's feelings.
He fires in here and says, if the truth hurts, I'm more than happy to hurt you.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
he's.
you can't help it. Go ahead, Chaz.
Oh no, I didn't really have much to say. I'll let you fire in here.
Yeah, I mean, and he's basically being sarcastic, but we do have to realize that when you tell someone the truth, especially when you're having what is called a healthy confrontation, a lot of people don't want to hear it, Chaz. They're not going to take that thing like if you confront me, I'm a man of understanding and all of that, reason, logic, and all that. I would say, okay, well, that's fine. But a lot of people, they don't want to hear that. They always want to be right. They always got to have the last word to say. And then they say, well, you hurt my feelings. How did I hurt your feelings because I told you something that I needed you to know? That's what's going on, man.
Yeah. Brother Daryl fires in here. He says attitude, intent, language.
Yeah, it's how you come at people, man. We have to look at that too, because a lot of us, we don't come at people the right way. We really don't.
Yeah,
And here's
we
something
don't.
else we talk about.
Number 6, some African Americans don't want to come across as the angry black female/male. Yeah, because I think that's the stereotype all over the news, all over TV, all over movies, magazines. Most black and females and males are seen as this grouchy guy, this grouchy lady that's always ready to, just go off on somebody or explode. But see, we don't have to come at it like that. We can come across as a nice person that's just mild mannered, and we tell somebody off in a nice way without going off or without venting or without exploding on people. But like I said, I think the media and the movies have done a terrible job at portraying most black men and black women as these ghetto, hood rat, low class people that's just always ready to start trouble. I think it's a terrible job that they've done by doing that to us.
And I think what we really need to do is we need to look at this for what it's worth. We act like we cannot be angry. And that's what I don't understand. When we're stressed out, I don't know where we get the idea from that we should be mild as far as the anger part. I can say to you, I am very angry right now. See, anger is something that we can express,
Right.
but we don't have to tear the room up. We don't have to pull the curtains down. We don't have to pick up the couch and throw the couch out the window. See, because a lot of us, we don't want to come across.
Come on, dog.
Because see, the media, Europeans have told us that we shouldn't be the angry black male or angry black female. Well, sometimes you have to be the angry black female. You have to be the angry black male. So we're so we're trying to be convincing to people, accommodating to everybody. No, sometimes we can be angry. We should be angry, and we should tell people, yes, I'm very upset right now, but that doesn't mean we got to go and get a stick of dynamite and blow the whole room up and all this stuff. So we got to really take advantage of the opportunity.
Brother Ray fires in here. He says, I have no problem with being the angry black male. It works for me. Yeah, and like you said, if you don't have a problem with that, that's fine. Some people do, some don't, but he's saying that he's going to get his point across. He's going to let you know what's going on, and that's good. You're addressing it. I was just saying from the media perspective, I think it's a terrible job on their part, where normally on the news and on TV, on movies, 9 times out of 10, they always portray us as these ghetto hood rats that are just no good, that are, stereotypical, people who are ready to explode. But if Brother Ray believes in, letting people know, that's a good thing with getting it off his chest. That's good for him if he believes in that. On the screen here, it says benefits of reducing stress. Number 1 on here says get better sleep. We talked about that earlier. You should be getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. The other one says low blood pressure. You should. I went to Walmart today, which they have these little machines in there. I checked my blood pressure, and I'm not bragging. My blood pressure was pretty low. I was shocked because I'm so used to being a black man with high cholesterol, high diabetes, high blood pressure. My blood pressure was pretty low. I just smiled at the doggone arm reader and got up and kept going about my day at Walmart earlier. So that's a good thing. You should have lower blood pressure. The third one, boosted immune system. Exactly. You don't want to always be getting sick. You don't always want to be coughing, sneezing, taking stuff over the counter. Our immune systems, if we're not stressed out as much, our immune systems will get better. And you also add taking your vitamins and stuff in there as well. Number 4, reduce muscle tension. Exactly. Sometimes our muscles our shoulders and our lower back and our triceps are always tense. And it's not because we're overworking the muscle, it's because of stress. We're always grouchy. We're always going off on the kids. We're always fussing with our significant other. And our muscles are saying, you know what? If you keep this up and you keep going off like this, you're going to hurt me. I'm talking about the muscles. Your muscles are going to need to be massaged and stretched out. But you should, if you're reducing your stress, you will have a reduced muscle tension. And last but not least, improve digestion. Exactly. Sometimes people, when they have to go to the bathroom, they're, have to do it number two. They're constipated. They can't get it out. Their stomach is messed up. And sometimes it's not always from the food that you're eating, because that's the first thing you think. Well, that Chinese food I had got my stomach messed up. No, it's not the Chinese food. Sometimes it's just that stress, bruh. It's just working yourself over so much that now your body, you can't even use the bathroom correctly.
Wow, that was pretty well said, Chazz.
Number 7, many of us don't want to confront because we're not in touch with our own emotions. Lying, saying that we're fine, but we're not. I'll let you take that one and I'll piggyback off of it.
Yeah, I hear that all the time, Chazz, when people go through things. If let's say if you're angry and I look at your face, your facial expressions, and I see anger and I say, "You angry?" You say, "No, I'm all right." But I know you're not. See, so you're lying. You're lying, saying that you're fine, but you're not. Someone does something to you, we'll say, "That must have hurt." "I'm all right." But no, it really hurt, because as soon as you leave, you get on the phone and call 20 people and tell them how you really feel. So it's hypocritical that we are this way. But we don't want to confront because we're not in touch with our own emotions. If we're hurting, say so. If we're going through something, say so. See, we got to stop that nonsense, because that's what we do a lot of times. We try to be strong, especially us African-American men. We want to be tough. We want to, always get it on the chin and not go down in the 6th round. We want to stay up. It's not about all of that, Chazz. It's really not about all that. To see who could take the hardest blow of life. Life had me doing this. Then you come back and say, well, no, life had me doing that. So our stories are so amazing, because we want everybody to know, I had this I went through this in life. Well, you haven't gone through anything. We're not in touch with our emotions, but you really would be saying, I'm hurting.
Yeah.
I really would be saying, I am so sad right now. But we want everybody to think that we're okay, because we're not in touch with our emotions, and that's a detriment to us.
Yeah, and I'll add to it. A lot of us want people to think that we got all this stuff under control. We always want people to think we got it figured out and everything is fine. And it's nothing wrong with saying what's wrong, just being upfront and being honest about it. There's nothing wrong about that. Brother Ray Fires in here. He says, if it wasn't for human aggression, humans would have existed this long. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm confused about what he's trying to get at.
Okay, but let's go to another one of these points, because I'm telling you, man, we got a lot of things that we have to deal with.
Number 8 is, some of us just don't know how to confront others because of our upbringing and poor examples in life. Yeah, we've seen some of our aunts, our uncles, our brothers, our cousins, our sisters just explode every time they get a chance, not knowing how to confront people in a mild manner, putting them to the side. That's another thing. Instead of doing it in front of others, pull that brother or that cousin aside and say, you know what, you did this to me. I'm not going to show you up in front of all these other people, but this is what's going on. This is between me and you. I don't want to cause a scene. I don't want to have any ruckus, but this is what's going on. But see, we like to shout, and we want people to think, like you said earlier, that we telling this brother off, when we just basically don't know how to talk to people because of what we've seen on TV and the way we've seen some of our relatives respond throughout the years.
And you just said it perfectly, what you said, what we've seen on television. We have to understand that all of our lives, when we growing up, we've seen so many shows on television and how people have confronted people, how people have handled stress, and most of them haven't been the perfect examples. And so what we do is we duplicate those, we imitate those, and we realize that we are in a bad position when we don't know how to handle what comes our way. And that's why it's important that we have time to talk about this, because a lot of this, Chazz, is just more or less sitting down, digesting it, and making sure that we don't repeat those poor examples in life, because I know all the people that I grew up with, most of them, that all they did was cuss somebody out when they were stressed out, or throw knuckles, or do something that was crazy. That's all we knew, man. That's all I knew.
You crazy, man. Number 9. Some don't practice healthy confrontation for fear of escalation. Exactly. We think that we can come into a situation talking like this and we're mellow, but we're afraid that the other person may say, they may raise it up a notch. It starts off calm and then it just gets crazy in a heartbeat. And that's why some of us don't practice healthy confrontation, because like you said on the screen, we're just afraid that the other person is a loose cannon, and we're afraid that they're going to take it the wrong way, even though we may mean it the right way. The other person is going to take it the wrong way. And before you know it, you got somebody just exploding in broad daylight.
Yeah, and see, that's what I don't get, because we'll say, I'm not going to confront this brother or sister because I don't want it to escalate. Well, if you just talk to that person, how is it going to escalate? Even if they escalated on their end, as long as you're talking like you're talking, that shows me that you're out of touch with your emotions, and that you let people drag you into something that you shouldn't be dragged into. If I confront you and I know that I'm just talking like I'm talking, and you start hollering and talking crazy and acting a fool, I'm still going to talk like I'm talking. But see, what they're trying to say is, if you escalate, I'm going to escalate. And that's how it happens. So we both escalate. And this doesn't help stress at all. Stress is killing us. It's killing our parents. It's killing people that look like us. It's killing our little children. It's messing up our stomach. We're having headaches. We're having ulcers. We're dying of strokes. We're dying of heart attacks. The silent killer is stress. And I'm telling you now, we've got to slow the train down and continue to talk about what it does to us and what we need to do to help ourselves, because this is what it boils down to. It boils down to this. Healthy confrontation is this: when people address a problem or disagreement in a respectful, honest, and calm way, trying to find a solution or understanding. If we work under that premise, Chazz, we're going to be fine. Anything other than this, it's not going to work, and it's going to backfire on us, really.
Yeah, I agree 1,000% with what you said on that. It's just a matter of, like we said, most of this stuff can be avoided, though, brother. If we know how to talk to people and be respectful, 9 times out of 10, all this can be avoided. But like I said, we have to do a better job at coming at the situation politely and respectful. Brother Ray Coleman fires in here. He says, if it wasn't for the defense mechanism of human aggression, humans wouldn't have existed this long ago. That's what he meant. Okay, I see what he's saying now. At first I didn't, but I'm glad he clarified that. But yeah, our defense, we do need to become, like I said, and when we're on the defense, we don't have to always be on the defensive end ready to attack. We could be on the defensive end looking for keywords, because see, some people like to, not Brother Ray, but I'm just saying in general, some people throw things out there to get us to bite. And on the defensive end, instead of us saying, you know what, I'm going to let that go by, I'm not going to respond, a lot of us on the defense are waiting to attack. We're waiting to become the aggressor. So we have to do a better job at just letting some of this stuff fly over the top of our head. Appreciate that comment, Ray.
Yes, Sister Ashonda says Shemotep, and we say to her Shemotep. And I'm going to let you read what Sister Barbara says coming up. But I just want to say that we're going to continue this discussion. Tell other people about this broadcast, because this broadcast is one that needs to be heard and seen, especially when we're talking about something as serious as stress, because every one of us is affected by stress. So we want you to know that we're bringing you truth every week. This is the 6th week in a row that we're talking about stress, and I'm learning a lot. I'm learning what to do. I'm learning what not to do, biologically, socially, and it just helps me out to be able to sit back and slow the train down and talk about the importance of getting stress under control in my life, because things are going to happen to me every day, but I got to know how to deal with it, because as the screen said earlier, I think this is the thing that we really looked at. It's not the load that breaks you down. It's the way that you carry it. That's very important.
Yeah. Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, not bragging about what you said. You curse a person out and then you're stressed out. It's the most horrible feeling having to become drained of your energy by this. I don't want to, nor do I need to keep this up. Well, that's good. She's saying sometime that she can sometimes be so angry, so frustrated, so full of frustration that she lashes out and cuss somebody out. And after she gets done with that, she's lethargic and tired and drained because of all the energy she spent. And even she may have hurt that other person's feelings. And now she's saying, I feel bad for what I did. I'm sorry for what I did. And I'm not going to let this get the best of me. According to her, she said she's not going to let this get the best of her anymore. And she's working on that. So that's a good thing that she chimed in and said as well.
Okay, Chazz, give us your closing remarks.
Tonight was a healthy healthy message about healthy stress and confrontation. It's just basically finding ways on not how to always be combative, not always ready to explode on people, learning to take the back seat and say, you know what, this doesn't need to be responded to like that, because it's going to raise my blood pressure, it's going to raise my cholesterol, my cortisol levels, excuse me. It's going to make me just all out in the deep end, just seem like a nutty Looney Tune. And once again, there's healthy levels of stress. You can always have healthy levels of stress when you're studying for a project, or you're reading, or you're trying to become better at a certain project. Those are healthy levels of stress. But we don't want to dwell on the negative sides of stress. We're constantly frustrated. We're on depression medicine. We're constantly always looking in the medicine cabinet, taking things because of our depression and our stress levels. And then Sister Barbara fires here on the last point. I'm going to read this one, then I'm going to get ready to skedaddle. She says, I apologize if I hurt someone's feelings, but communicate. She's apologizing. We appreciate that. She's been a bigger person since she know what? She made a mistake. And if she hurts anyone's feelings, she's apologized. I hope we see you guys next week to carry on this topic. And remember, there are healthy levels of stress, but just don't dwell on the negative ones, because it's going to mess your blood pressure up. I hope to see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.